Hey friends, how are you? I hope you're having such a great day. So, I wanted to talk to you today about energy. Energy and blood sugar. And this is a huge piece of what I am working on foundationally with most of the new clients that I work with. It's a primary focus of where we start in the beginning because so many people have problems with energy every day. We get those crashes right in the afternoon. We feel tired, lethargic. We have those highs and lows, right, with mood and energy. A lot of this is related to blood sugar levels. So one of the key components to sustained energy is managing your blood sugar, balancing blood sugar levels, and eliminating those spikes and those crashes of blood sugar instability. So blood sugar is essentially important really to manage even if you don't have diabetes. So a lot of times we focus on this after it's a problem, but you have total control of managing this and it affects so many aspects of how you feel. So what is blood sugar? Blood sugar is essentially the amount of glucose or sugar in your bloodstream at any given time. Glucose is produced whenever our body breaks down all forms of carbohydrates, from oatmeal to ice cream. It's broken down eventually into glucose as the preferred energy source that our body can utilize. So from there, it's absorbed into our digestive tract, into the bloodstream, and it's directly converted either into energy or it's stored for later use. Our blood sugar levels play a huge role in hunger levels, cravings, and energy. So we feel most focused and even keel. You know, when you have like that really good concentration, you feel really present and focused. This means your blood sugar is not too high, it's not too low. You have a really even level blood sugar. That means you're feeling really good. When our blood sugar levels become out of whack, this leads to increased cravings, irritability, poor sleep, brain fog, anxiety, low energy, and if it's not managed over a period of time, it can lead to diabetes. So blood sugar is controlled by two hormones, insulin and glucagon. When you consume food, your pancreas secretes insulin into the bloodstream, and that determines if the energy is going to be utilized as immediate energy or if it's going to be stored for later. So insulin is essentially the key that unlocks the door to your cells so that glucose can move from the bloodstream into the cells of specifically your liver, muscles, and fat cells as energy. So this process brings blood sugar from the blood into the cells and the blood sugar stabilizes. When you eat a balanced meal with adequate sources of carbs, of fat, of protein for your individual needs, your body can regulate the amount of glucose that you're taking in at this time. And a healthy metabolism should generally be able to manage this blood sugar within 1 to 2 hours of eating a meal. So when you're eating a meal, on the other hand, with tons of carbs, primarily carb sources, this floods your body with more glucose than it can keep up with, and your organs over time become stressed from this process. It can't keep up with the amount of glucose that it's being given. So your pancreas is having to constantly pump out more and more and more insulin. And over time, your body starts to become resistant to producing insulin. And the sugar, therefore, is unable to move into the cells because insulin unlocks the door to the cell to move the blood sugar. So this creates continuous high blood sugar levels, but the cells feel starved for energy. So the cells aren't getting what they need. Over time, this is called insulin resistance. So we've heard of this kind of trendy word of why this can lead to weight gain, insulin resistance, but it can help to understand what this process looks like and what's happening in your body. So insulin resistance, when this happens, although you may be eating foods with carbohydrates in them and sources of glucose, at this point your body's unable to move glucose into the cells, but your body continues to crave more and more sugar for energy because the cells aren't getting what they need. This also leads to high blood sugar and difficulty burning fat in your body because your body recognizes there's energy. There's energy in your bloodstream, so it doesn't see the need to burn the fat that's stored, body fat, as backup fuel because it thinks it has the energy in the bloodstream. So this is where increased weight gain and resistance to burning body fat can come into play. So insulin resistance has continuous high blood sugar levels, and this can really make you feel pretty crappy. So low energy, increased cravings, increased irritability, especially if you skip meals or don't eat for a long period of time, trouble sleeping, difficulty concentrating, and this can lead to weight gain as well, especially in the abdominal area. The good news is that this is completely 100% preventable and reversible and can be corrected with diet, activity, and lifestyle. Those unsexy words that we hear that we know that we have to do the work for. And this is what we can do, and it does not have to be complicated. So it's once you understand and monitor the quantity and quality of the carbohydrate sources within your meals, this is super important. So we need carbohydrates in our diet, absolutely. I am not saying carbs are bad. Carbs are necessary. They're about 50%, half of our total daily calories for the day, plus or minus depending your activity. But like anything else, overdoing this, especially chronically over a long period of time, can lead to health problems. So here's a couple tips for how to manage this. And I'll share some of the things that I do start with my clients to look at this. So it can be helpful to start by choosing 50% of your carbs as high fiber sources of carbs in your diet. This doesn't mean you can never have ice cream or donuts or any of the fun carbs at all. You can absolutely have these things in your life, in your day, but try to balance them out with other high fiber carb sources and combine other nutrient dense sources with them. So high fiber carbs, oats, quinoa, beans, fruits, veggies, whole grains. When you're choosing breads or wraps, try to do one that has more fiber in them. So you can definitely have these things. Just try to bump up the fiber. Fiber is the non-digestible part of plants. And this helps to stabilize our blood sugar levels because our body doesn't digest it. It slows the rate of digestion of the carbs. And then also having balanced meals, right? I talk about this all the time. It's so important to balance meals with carbs, protein, and fats together. Protein and fat helps to slow the absorption of glucose into the blood. So we get less of that spike and then crash. We get more of a sustained, 1 to 2 hours up, and then the blood sugar comes back down without the high waves. Adequate sleep, increasing activity, all of these things are going to help with managing blood sugar levels. One of the key things that I'm focusing on with my nutrition clients in the beginning is getting a rhythm into their day with meals and learning how to balance their meals adequately for their needs. This is a very general recommendation, okay? It's hard to specifically recommend something if I don't know more about you. And this is really what I dive deep into each person I work with. We're looking at their schedule, their routine, their preferences, and we're building a rhythm within their day that makes sense for them. General recommendation with meals, 4 to 5 hours between balanced meals. If you are constantly hungry during the day, it's likely that your meals aren't adequate or not adequate in a certain macronutrient. This doesn't mean that you have to eat every hour or every 2 hours or be constantly eating to keep your blood sugar stable. Adequate meals throughout the day, looking what that makes sense for you, and then adding snacks in between there. Again, this is super dependent on your activity level and what your specific energy needs are. So I hope that was really helpful for you guys. That was a lot of science. I know that was a lot of biology and nitty-gritty details, but I really think it's important to give you the knowledge and understand what's going on in your body so that way you can make choices for yourself that you understand versus someone just dictating information to you and saying, do this, don't do that, but you're not really understanding why and how you're feeling. So your body keeps the score, right? Your body knows when it's getting what it needs and what it doesn't. And cravings are usually a sign that you're not getting what you need in some capacity. So we dive deeper into what that looks like for you. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I've done other videos on carbohydrates. So under the guide section, there's tons of videos that I've done in the past, diving deeper into some of these topics. So you can definitely check some of those out. All right, I'll talk to you soon.